Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time that this life is finding you. A hello from Avenue X. Let me know if it's all working for you. Usually there's 20 seconds of delay, so let me just double check it's working. It should be. Okay, cool. Hey, hello! Suddenly a rush of people. Humans from other places. How are you doing? I know it's Sunday and I know it would be late for some people. Like you're heading towards Monday, but I really cannot make it work for Saturday. So this month it's here today, and next month probably sometime around end of the year we shall figure out, because I think it happens to be like a Monday for January the 1st of 2024, so that will make 31st Sunday again, something like that. So just happens to. Happy Sunday. If it's still morning your time, well, you still got a few hours to burn. If it's already evening, we should have a good night's sleep and a great next new week to burn through. Hello from everywhere. Hello from Germany. Hello from Indonesia. Hello from France. Just so cool to have so many countries. So, how is everyone doing? Finally catching my life? Yes, because previously I always do my live during weekdays. It's not ideal, and people would be working or studying and stuff. Yeah, so this time it's on weekend. Last month was also on weekend. I will try to do the future ones on weekend, but it really depends on every month whether it's workable. So hope you are all doing well, and hope the weather is treating you kindly. This side of the planet is cold, but not yet. Where I am, it hasn't gotten to the bad part of winter yet, so we're still okay. And today, because of the epic dramas we've had this month up to this point, look at my shirt. Perfect, isn't it? This is like what I look like 90% of the time during this month watching Chinese dramas. It's perfect. I'm like this duck. So that's why I'm wearing it today. It's so perfect. Oh, sewing. Some people are sewing. Cool. Sewing is so time consuming. It's like you start something and without noticing, 5 hours gone, and you barely did anything. I know what sewing can do. Also, you need a huge table. Also, by the end of it, you're so sore everywhere, and your room is a mess. It's like filled with fabric and lint and bits. It's fun, but it's a mess, right? So thank heavens for technology, for sewing machine, for electricity. That's why ancient women die young, because they literally die from too much sewing. It's so much physical work. So, so last night in China, it was, or the night before, really. Yeah, technically, it's the 爱奇艺尖叫之夜, right? 爱奇艺 Screaming Night. They do that self-congratulatory award every year, which is basically just another excuse for people to dress up and walk on a so-called red carpet thingy and congratulate each other with silly awards titles that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, that's what it is. I know. I haven't watched the ceremony, but I've seen enough pictures of people during the ceremony. It's just, yeah, it's those things, I doubt many people actually enjoying going there. It's just like, yeah, it's my job, I have to go there, but Really. What's actually fun about it? It's pretty silly. And all the type of titles they have to think up to give people so that everybody can have something to take home. It's just basically show off like the richness of Chinese language. It's like we can create that many ridiculous titles with our language. That's the purpose of that whole thing. So I know iQIYI Screaming Night, and I am like, yeah, like whatever. So this month, November, quite epic. We've got continuously brewing gossip in Gossipland. We've got updating of previous fallen people's news. We've got absolutely baffling dramas. Like that just like I made a video rant about it, but honestly, I don't think there's any language that can describe it accurately in terms of just how ridiculous it is. So November is for Chinese drama land, and definitely for me. I thought I had to wait till the very end of the year to fulfill my worst dramas of Chinese dramaland list that holds all the 5 directions positions. Clearly I was too optimistic. It was only until November that it's all done, and if something comes in challenging that 5 positions in December, I don't know, like it needs to be that bad. It's hard. It's gonna be like hefty task for any drama to take on. Is like to just squeeze one of those dramas off my list and take its position. Or I may just add that one, if there would be one, onto the list and make it Beehive. 6 points. Yeah, I had follow-up because I don't use Twitter, so I don't give a shit to what people talk about me, like all the kind of weird stories people make up about me. But occasionally on Discord, my mods would add me, or they're like, people are talking about these things on Twitter about you, and I'm like, oh, okay, what are they saying? You know, like I'm curious. And yeah, so I know that people were like screenshooting my Weibo and then just start to say whatever about that, and I'm like, I followed up. I sent another post on Weibo and saying, since you're moving my post from Weibo to Twitter, might as well just moving that one too. And I had a sincere prayer for all the people who enjoy those, like who think those dramas are fine. I'm like, yeah. So if you've read that post, it's really my sincere prayer for you. I know you'll like it, so that's why I did it. And I unfortunately have some magic power with my mouth, so guess you'll be very happy about that. And let me look at what people are chatting about. Showing those places in China. Glad you liked it, because I don't think anybody is doing it. That's why I'm doing it. Really, on YouTube, even on China, any kind of social media where they extensively, right, and go to Hengdian and just like film everything they can. I don't think anybody has done it. I couldn't find any videos like that, or series of videos on Bilibili, Weibo, YouTube. So nobody's doing it, so I'm doing it. Okay, filling that tiny niche that probably like nobody cares about, but whatever. So if you've enjoyed that, that's fine. And so we are gonna mainly talk about the dramas that and the gossips that we've had during this month, because they're too fun. Like I can't stop talking about them. So mainly Kunning Palace, Wei happens to be by Luled, both of them, but it really is just because they aired at the same time, right? And then a little bit probably about all the scandal and function, and a couple of other things. And then if you have any questions, you can type it out. If I catch them, I'll talk about them. 10 minutes. Okay, let's spend 5 more minutes just looking at questions, and then I'm gonna just like talk about all those things. So my Hengdian series of videos are pretty much done. I actually had footage of another place that is not related to drama at all, but I haven't edited it yet. I'll see if if it's necessary, and I may put it on a second channel if I do, just because on the main channel it really is not related to drama at all. But it's a heritage garden in Suzhou, so I filmed it. Might as well just talk about it. But then, depends on if I have time to edit all the stuff. So yeah, I know Fearless is airing. I didn't watch it for... Okay, I know it's a lawyer story, and it has a lot of very blood pressure raising cases. And I was like just trying to figure out, because I watched the first episode and I was like, oh my god, it's another... I feel so bad for the female lead of what she has to go through. I'm like, maybe just not watch it, because I don't want to have that. I just like try to minimize my own gut reaction and emotional reaction to things, because sometimes it's just like, well, why do I add it on top of everything I have to endure anyway? So I watched the first episode. I'm like, oh my god, that's so bad for her. And I was like, chill and wait until like I'm in the right mood to watch it. I know Fearless, the lawyer drama, 热议战, Wongyang, is pretty much done also. And it's getting very good rating on television stations. My parents are watching it. They're watching more of that than I do. So like, when it's the right time, probably go and check it out. Right now, it's just like, oh, I don't want to look at that. Thank you for saying my makeup is pretty. I actually put purple thing on my eyelids today, but it looks red. Like, I don't know, with the lighting. Things change color on my skin. Like, they look like one color when you just look at it, but when you put it on your skin, it totally is different. You cannot predict what it's gonna look like. And since we're talking about Tu Bailu-led drama, it's fine, because she is like so crazy about red eyeshadow. Like, what is it with that? Particularly her pair dramas, she's like constantly red eyeshadowed person. Yeah, mainly I just do it for this shirt because it's green, it's cold color, and yeah, it's that face. So let's just talk about the dramas that are going on. Scent of Time, somebody said, I haven't finished watching it. I watched a couple of episodes, and one problem with that drama is the dubbing is very unfitting for the face. Like the vocal quality, particularly female lead Zhou Ye. I know what she sounds like in real life, and the dubber is the actress who dubbed Wang Manchun in Disguiser, or in Nirvana in Fire. Also, that voice also dubbed, I think, Wang O. That voice. That's very fanpai voice, the anti-hero voice of a woman. It's just too recognizable. And it's very different from Zhou Ye. So when she's speaking, I can't get into the story. I hear the voice, and in my head, I see a totally different face. And then when I look at her face, it's like, it doesn't fit. Scent of Time's dubbing is so not fitting the female lead. I can't watch it. I watch a couple of episodes, I'm like, I've had enough. I can't keep doing this. It's just odd. Every second is odd to me. And also that whole setting, I think in the original novel, it is about a palace, a royal, imperial, it's like kings and queens and whatever. It's that level. And then they changed this to a family who is in control of the whole country's incense or any type of spice trade, which, I mean, yes, it's a lot of money. But by changing that, it makes a lot of things fundamentally illogical, like the power structure. Who has what power over what, and they live in a county where there's still governmental structures where there's like county magistrate and stuff, but then they're so powerful that they don't care. So they're above law. And then they're just a business family, but somehow they can get a princess to marry into them. Like, that never happens in Chinese history, okay? Because business people are low class people. No matter how rich you are in traditional Chinese society, if you do business, do trading, you're considered to be lower than peasants. In terms of like social ranking, you can be super uber rich, but you're still like the bottom of the society. Like, one level down is like slaves and prostitutes. So, you know, like that whole thing just does not make sense. It's it's pick and choose the elements of his Chinese ancient history and just mix it up, but then it doesn't actually make logical sense. So I can't watch it. I like it's funny to see like all the people, like, they're pretending like this structure, this power structure works, but I cannot get convinced with that. So I can't sit into the story. One is the whole structure is not making sense. The other is female lead's voice dubbing is so off. And I watch a couple of episodes and I'm like, I've had enough. And thinking through all the main characters in that drama, none of them really is that good at acting either. Okay, it's my honest opinion. So there's nothing to hold me there. So I didn't watch Scent of Time beyond episode 4, I think. Like, I stopped there and I'm like, I've had enough. It's good. It's good enough. It's not hugely problematic. It's just not good enough. And then that's that one. Kunning has just finished, and if you pay money, you've already finished watching. If you don't, it's next week. And obviously, pirated websites would have all of them already there. So technically speaking, it's out there. As long as you have internet, and you're not like super sort of a morality, like whatever person is like, I never watch any pirated stuff and I don't download any movies, which I don't believe actually exists in this world, but hey, it does not matter. Like, unless you're those type of people, you already have seen it, right? If you want to, I mean, given. So, Kunning Palace, 宁安如梦 is finished, 38 episodes. I will make a video, like actually talking about that drama. But in terms of like right now, just off the off script, talking about Kunning Palace, it's not a terrible drama, but it's meh. Like MEH drama. It's MEH drama. The type of situation pretty much like 莲花楼, which is had this thing been made 20 years ago with a different cast. It will be a lot better. Don't change anything. Maybe change the director. Holy shit, with that lighting and that circling camera work. Maybe change the director, change the cast, and just like don't even touch much of the script. Although the script has a lot of problems too, it would be a better drama. First, it would be like 24 episodes instead of 38. And then it will be a lot better in acting department. So, pretty similar to Lotus Casebook. In terms of like, it's not bad, but is it that good? No. And then again, it's like representing the era it is in which it is made. It's just the overall decline of the qualities of productions of Chinese dramas. It's just reflecting what you have on hand and what you can use and then what you end up with. It's, in a way, very clinically cruel to reflect reality. Yeah, you can compare only for love to Kunning Palace, and Kunning Palace become better, but like, isn't that pathetic? So it's like compared to poop, then, you know, like McDonald's is definitely better, but it's So Kunning Palace. Let's think. The director, he is working with Bailu right now again for filming their next drama, 百月繁星, and at least in one of their like Douyin video or whatever, they promise they're not gonna use the big light anymore. Well, yeah, who knows? He may not use the light anymore, but he may still just decide to let's just spin the camera. So it may not help anything. If I have to pick who is a in 古偶 period idol drama in recent 3 years, director who has the potential to direct another good drama, being an expert of telling stories with visual and teaching and eliciting the performances out of actors, it would be Beyong, who unfortunately hasn't gotten any work for a whole freaking year now. So that's that guy who directed 苍兰诀 and the Wang Anyu and Jing Chen sports guy and coach drama. What's the English title? 赤道. Chinese title is 赤道. English title I forgot. 昂优酷. So it's that guy who directed Fairy and Devil and that Jing Chen Wang Anyu drama. He is Falling Into You. He is the person that I think I have any hope in terms of if he is at the helm of a drama and he actually gets to decide how it gets filmed and how he tells the story. Probably that's where only there's a possible good romantic drama can come out. Among these couple of very active directors in recent just 2-3 years. I'm not saying a long time. Just recent couple of years, right? Because Guo Hu, Zhu Ruibing, these couple of people are just having so much work. They're chucking out stuff like crazy. But in terms of director, so far, at least, Yizheng is the only person I see who actually understands. When he looks at a script, he can visualize it and knows how to play every scene, and it's how would tweak the energy between actors, and how do we block the scene, how do we add details, how we just tweak everything when people are acting. Or you do this, then you do that. In this scene, you should do this. That does not make sense. He understands it. He has brain. If you've watched a lot of behind the scene footages of 苍兰诀, Fairy and Devil, that includes the director. That actually shows you what director is doing on set, telling the actors to do this, that, and then let's just change this, and then this part needs to. If you've seen him doing work, okay, he knows what he's doing. He actually knows what makes a good story or makes a good story work and a scene that actually function between characters. A lot of directors don't understand that at all. You can see from their work, they have no clue. This guy knows, but he doesn't get that much work. Wonder why, hey? You wonder why. So, I wish he can get better work and more work in the future. So, Kunning Palace. Briefly talk about my opinion about it is there are a couple of things. It's just very 拼盘. This is a very taking elements from everything and just crash them together and hope it works type of drama that doesn't really work at the end. First, on the production end of things, it has one of the worst type of mix all the periods and influence and not having it coherently showing up in the period drama in recent years. By which I mean, it may not be obvious to people who don't care about, history and Chinese culture and costumes and throughout time. But this drama has all the male actors. They're mostly professional official actors, most likely Tang Dynasty style. Then they switched to Song Dynasty style for most of the women's costume. And then all the servants look like they come from Ming Dynasty. The palaces, right, happens to be the fake Gugong. If you watch my recent Hengdian tour of the fake Forbidden Palace, it's shot there. You can tell the palace is. You've seen all those places. I put it on camera. It's very obvious. So they mix Tang, Song, Ming, Qing, and then in the political structure, in the titles of people's official whatever, and how court works, it's first is mixing again all different dynasties things together, and then it actually does not make any sense. It's not how it works in Chinese history. Anyway, so it's basically let's just use whatever is available in Hengdian and shoot the drama. and not having any coherent design idea in your head. It's like, what's the cheapest way to do it? We have that palace and we don't need to dress it up, so let's just go and film it there. And then so we have that scene, we need it there, and then like, who cares if like this part of the show looks like it happens in Tang Dynasty, and next scene like goes to Song, and next scene goes to Ming. It does not matter. It's cheap and nobody cares. So they do that, and it looks very. I'd say if you don't care about that and you don't know about it, it's fine. But to me, it's very weird. It's very weird. Particularly when you see a Song Dynasty lady talking to her servant who is like from Ming Dynasty. Like, they dress totally differently in those two periods. I'm like, oh, that's so odd. It's just so odd. So that's Kunning's on basic level, something that I just can't get used to, but maybe other people can. And I think I saw something, but it's gone. Anyway, was it like some super chat? I saw a green thing that flashed on my screen and it disappears. So if it happens to be, sorry, didn't catch that. So that's Kunning's basic thing that's weird. And then I know a lot of people are talking about Only for Love. We're gonna talk about it later, okay? And then in terms of the story, all the politics in Kunning is very unbearably not making sense. So I basically try to voluntarily ignore it. Otherwise, I can't watch it because nothing makes sense. Not even one thing. Wars, powers, like the traitors, and nothing makes sense in this. Like, yeah, that's just like how it's like written by people who don't know how history works, or they've never read any history text at all. like aliens just came to land and learned language, but they know nothing about history, so they just make things up. And then when it comes to the actual romantic story, which, you know, like, you come here to watch that, really, right? What else? I think, although it's not so well written, if you're a good enough actor, you probably can elevate all the conflict and the dramatic tension between all the characters a lot more than what it looks like now. And there are definitely missed opportunities in terms of just because of the lack of ability of the actors, that it didn't bring it out and sometimes make it look too funny for you to take it seriously. And that's one of the biggest problem probably when it comes to the love line. For the couple of main actors, we're talking about the same age range of the main female male lead characters. So not the parents' generation, because they're actually done by really good actors. Think about Huang Haibing, who used to be Little Fresh Meat, and now he's playing the bad guy, the Duke, in the story. If it's not him, who is very good at acting, he still has that, even mid-age, right? You can tell, like, he almost has a, like, opera training kind of like a way of talk and look. He can control things when the camera is on him. If it's not him, that whole role would just completely shatter because it does not make sense, right? But his performance is really good. I'm saying, like, all that generation of actors, let's just take them out of the equation because they're too professional to be compared to the younger generation. And for the younger generation, I think the best actor is, not best actor, but who gives me the most easy to sort of get into performance is the guy, his name is, I forgot, shit, who plays the businessman, the Lu Yu, Mr. Lu Yu, who marries Yu Fangying. He is in Starry Love. This drama has a lot of repeated actors from Starry Love. So I think it's like filmed back to back, and because it's the same director, so he filmed the first drama and thinks, oh, these people get along really well with me. I have a next project. Are you open your schedule? And these people are like, yes, we don't have anything to do. So come, jump on to Kunning. So they all jump on. So you have so many repeated actors from Starry Love ending up in Kunning. He's one of them, and he played the puppy and wolf. Puppy slash wolf of the animal kingdom of the Starry Love. He comes across a lot more convincingly and naturally and relaxed as his role in the drama, then Zhou Junwei, then Zhang Linghe, then a couple of main male actors. His line is very good, no problem. He acts he knows what he's doing, basically. Like, if you compare his acting in this drama to his acting in Story Love, it comes from his understanding of his particular character, what his background, what does he do in this world, what's his relationship with the main character. He understands it perfectly, so that it's the same person, but it's different type of character. Clear, you can tell. So he's the most easy to watch actor in the whole Kunning for the younger generation of roles. Although he doesn't have that much screen time, I'm pretty happy with his performance. And then in comparison, the worst of the main roles is Zhou Junwei. His acting is hard to watch. I think he gets dubbed, if I'm not wrong, because it doesn't sound like a not dubbed voice. I haven't checked it. Let me know if I'm wrong. So he as Yanling. Every time I look at his acting, I'm like, you can do this. You cannot. It's gonna pass very soon. So, his acting is so, if it were up to me, I would never cast him. Moving on to Zhang Linghe. There are a couple of things in the drama that you can see that he's okay, and then often it's like if your engine, right, you're not running at your best sort of like pacing. It's most of the time he's like performing at like 60% energy. And often I think it may be director, or maybe his understanding of this guy being the 全程, being the master manipulator of politics, that he needs to hold that air, that like he's so deep and impossible to penetrate, and you can't know what he's thinking of, the strategist, that he is. Like, his eyelid has no, like, the muscle is completely paralyzed by Botox injection, so he talks like that. And he likes to do this with his corner of the mouth, and to show that he's like the big man. But it's really odd, like in close up, and sometimes he's like, "Are you sleepy? You know, like, did they like, and did you start your day at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're like right now on the edge of falling asleep when the camera is rolling?" Because so many shots, he's like, either he can't see because he's not wearing contacts, or he's just like sleepy. It reads like that to you. Whether the actor is acting that it's me, and it's due to him, and also the director, who is like behind the monitor, and you're looking at it, and you say pass, like that take is okay, so you keep it in the final. It's all of them working together and creating that, and it's so easy to fix. If you find that's weird, just stop it and say, do a next take. Let's just like make those eyes open up a bit more. He doesn't actually have problems with that, because in 苍兰诀 he's not like that at all. Like, he never had a shot in 苍兰诀looks like this. No? Through that whole drama, he has a lot of shots, right? He's just like so okay. and what happened in Kunning is like he just like didn't get enough sleep or something. So that's definitely to do with him, but also the director. Director is to blame. It's not something you can fix. If he has to have his mouth like that, a noise like that all the time, it's just so easy to fix. Instantly, on set, just say, don't do that. And the director seems to be thinking that it's all good, and it's actually what he wants. And not to mention those ridiculous camera work of right from the beginning, do you remember the first episode when they had the dream, like flashback of the female lead when he comes into the palace and try to murder everybody? It's snowing, and they have the red eyeliner, and the camera just like right on his nose with a very wide angle lens that almost fisheye like bend the space. It's like a zombie. It's like a zombie movie, and he's being possessed by evil, and his eyes are like this, And the camera is on him like that. And he looks, I don't know, like, why would you put an extreme wide on a person's nose? Wow. Any human with that camera and that lens is gonna look horrendous. No matter who they are, like Brad Pitt, whatever, whoever, right? The best looking humans, like you have the perfect scowl, is still gonna make you look the worst. They put the male lead on such a terrible, like, frame, like, shot, right at the beginning of the drama. Like, what do you expect me to think? You know, how am I? Yeah, I don't understand. That is so ridiculous. And then, you know, like other things such as like when she kills herself at the beginning, like barely any blood, you know, like hurry up, call ambulance, because if you're not fast enough, she will be healed in no time. And all those things is just so, you know, it's making you not believing it, the story, and it makes it really funny and light, and not like you can't take it seriously, any of those, because of how just it's made. And then the actors are definitely not there yet. Also, the line delivery, of Zhang Linghe, what can I say? Get some training. It's so hard to listen to him. And they reverb when he shouts. Like every time he shouts, they reverb the last couple of characters in post-production. They really should have dubbed him. His line delivery is, I don't know how to describe that apart from basically I don't believe in his character because the way he speaks and the way he acts, and it's all also on paper it doesn't make sense anyway. Like he's like what, barely 30, like mid to late 20s, and he is already 少师. Like, yeah, you believe that's gonna happen in Chinese history, No matter if you're Lian Zhong San Yuan, if you are the top one student in all 3 exams consecutively leading up to the final in Palace exam, it's, you know, like usually a 状元, when they get that in the exam and then they get official positions, they start from very bottom, like 9品8品, like very low positions. Gradually they rise, right? And if they're so young in 20s, like there's no way, like immediately you're teacher of the future, like emperors and princes. I'm like, what? Like in Chinese history, to be a teacher of the princess, you mid-aged person, like earliest, right? You have to. And as like he represents the most cultivated and learned person, he would actually throw books like that. Do you know like ancient time how expensive books are? And you are the representation of cultivation, like of human knowledge. And you throw books just because you're not happy? Oh my god. And then obviously he's master of Qing, and that's just like 撞枪口上了, to me. The wrong writing to my gun barrel. In this drama, like every tune they found for the BGM when people are playing Qing is like not matching what they're doing, completely irrelevant. And if you want to scrutinize, some of those tunes are actually a lot younger than the time kind of setting of the story. And then like all the shots like where it's like them playing, it's just all a mess. It's all a mess. Like not even one thing actually fits, like the hand movement, and the actors clearly do not know how to play Qing. Even with the sister Jiang Xuehui, her sister, her elder sister, who has an extensive scene where she's playing it and impressing everybody. Even with Xie Wei, a couple of scenes, and her like nothing is right. Imagine the pain. Yeah, whatever. also like when he stabs himself like with a knife and then kind of destroys his hand, if he used like some functions, right? Like the hand is not completely handicapped and can't use it anymore. As long as he can just like, you know, get a little bit function back, he wouldn't be completely unable to play Qing. Unless like that hand is completely like not doing anything. Like you can't use it to hold stuff or do anything, then maybe it's completely destroyed. And usually if you want to make this hand completely not being able to do anything, you actually have to hurt the tendon here on the wrist, right? To break basically that connection so that things cannot be... And he did it like stabbing through it. I don't think it's going to affect every finger. If his thumb is still working, he can make a lot of things work. And if this finger is still working, 90% of Qing can still be done. It's basically these two fingers. If they're still like 80% functional, then you can still play Qing. Because the other fingers are not 100% necessary. I mean, maybe it's occasionally middle finger, but you may be able to get around it. I don't know. Like, you wouldn't be like completely wasted, basically not playing Qing anymore. You can, but maybe certain tunes, it will be a difficult for you. And I'm just saying, like, you know, it's clearly done by people who don't know, like, about Qing. And if you really want to make him impossible to play Qing, just like cut his hand off. That's the only way you can make his left hand completely not being able to play Qing. And even that, he can still just play the right side, although you wouldn't be able to do any of the decorations. At least you can plug the string. I'm just joking. Yeah, so that is like, yeah, whatever. When I was watching, I was just laughing. And then when we talk about Bai Lu, she's... what am I supposed to say? Her dramas, she doesn't have characters. She has herself in it. And then if you're talking about her line delivery, her voice quality is actually not bad. She has the mid-tone range voice of a female person who can have a little bit metallic like quality to it, and actually it's more suited for playing very like not girly, very young, vibrant young girl, more towards the cooler undertoned, well-educated, very reserved and like rational. Like her voice quality is more on that end. It starts with a good enough bass, but the way she speaks makes it very... it's not the type of very easy to make people love listening to her voice, like the way she talks. Her 逻辑重音, basically her emphasis in the sentence when she's expressing some meaning. I have that whole sentence, 10 characters, where I put the emphasis on is not worked out, like for her line delivery. So it makes it very hard for people to get her meaning. It's almost like every character gets equal treatment with the emphasis therefore, or she just shouts. Like when she needs to be very emotional, she needs to raise her voice, needs to make an impact, she wouldn't pick the right position of a sentence of the character and word to put the energy in. She would make the whole sentence on the same level, loud and annoying. She shouts. She shouts the whole sentence. It makes everything hong. And then it's like a pong. It's like a one. But then which character? What do you mean? You know, like where do you want to put the emphasis on? She doesn't have that in any of her lines. Just compare the way she talks to, for example, the actor who plays the businessman, the guy, the puppy from Story Love. It can clearly tell the difference of an actor understanding his lines and then deliver it with the right rhythm, emphasis, so that the meaning easily gets delivered to the person listening. Compared to that, to somebody just speaks and not letting the meaning going through it. And then not really, also her voice is really lacks training of, like it doesn't come from the diaphragm. Listen to her talk, it doesn't come from the diaphragm. It's all here. And so when she shouts, the sound energy is very dissipated. It's like, it's out, but then it's not targeting anywhere. Like the way she talks. That's the best way I can describe that. And also, like, very technical terms, I don't know, because I never really went to a like graduate school for line delivery. I learned it when I was little. I was like 4 or 5 when I started learning it. I learned about 8 years. So I forgot. Basically, it's my system 1. I don't know all the terms that people create in professional broadcasting school in China about, like, you know, you have a textbook and you have year 1, 2, 3, 4, like you learn the different things and what are the terms and, you know, the scientific way of doing lines. Speech, you know, like if you're from England, you know, like RADA, when you go there and learn Shakespeare, you would also get trained in that. I forgot all those terms because I was too little when I learned it, but it's kind of like I just can tell when somebody's speaking. I'm like, it's not coming from there, it's not right. But she has that problem, so her line delivery is also not really good, and so you have 2 leads who are just like shouting at each other. Like the last couple of episodes of Kunning, one is when they're in, when like a scene before they were in this cave, right? Before that, and then when she she stabs him, like not really, like it's more almost like a mixed up whatever, and then there are a couple of emotional things, right? It ended up being funny because they cannot really deliver the lines in a trained way. It just sounds so funny. 苦果一世国，如果你杀过我呢？苦果一世国 with the reverb added in the post production, it just makes those things so funny. And the acting wasn't helping either. So the lines are not working. The delivery sounds awkward. The post production doesn't help. The camera work is weird. Like you had all those elements added together. It's like, how am I supposed to have this thing working? Like how is it supposed to work on you? When I saw the actual 苦果一世国, it's just too funny. And the whole like he gets stabbed, that one scene was so funny. Nothing makes sense in that moment, not even one thing. And it's just sad because although this setup of Xie Wei, this character, is very childishly superficial, if it's a good enough actor, that person will be able to make it more grounded and believable. And some parts of the drama, the super heightened emotional moments throughout this drama of this character can actually work to a level, in my opinion, if it's a qualified actor doing it. But in this drama, it's just so completely wasted. The potential of the Rao Xie Wei, although I don't think it's like as it stands now on paper, is good enough. But with a more capable actor, it could be a lot better. But unfortunately, Zhang Linghe is... Sorry. He's the buffalo that murdered in the farmland for a whole drama. I can't take it seriously, sorry. And then whenever Bailu gets too excited, she starts to act with her upper lip. And he acts with his lower lip. So he's like talking like that. She's like talking like that. I'm like, if I'm not looking at the screen, I'm listening to their voice, which is also funny. So like visually it's funny. Audio, like why is it funny? And there's no way to escape. Like what else? You cannot smell the drama. We don't have the technology yet. So oh, there's one more thing I want to complain about is whenever the emotional love, whatever moment is happening on screen, Bailu starts singing her, I think she did 2 songs at least for the drama. Her song starts to show up, like her singing starts to happen. And if that moment was initially in any way serious, the moment she starts to sing, it becomes a TikTok video to me. I think if you're not professional of doing something, just don't do it. There are so many good qualified singers who can make magic happen. And for most of these super heightened emotional moments, if it wasn't Zhou Shen going on in there, it would completely crash. Like, Zhou Shen was the only thing that's holding the drama's tension there. When he's singing, like, otherwise, like, the whole thing is just gonna crash. Because the acting is not working, the line delivery is not working, the camera work is, direction is not there. Like, if Zhou Shen's not there, that is, like, dead. And then they make her sing. And those songs are so tiny. It's like very, very girly, romantic bubble, silly songs. And she's not a professional singer. And you can know, like, you can hear it's been post-production so much to make it sound like auto-tune so much that it could sound good enough. But even when the notes are hitting where it needs to hit, the voice quality, the emotion in the singing is just like, yeah. So even when I was like okay with the performance at that moment, when her song shows up, I'm like, oh, okay, fast forward 3 times speed, because that way I can ignore the song. If I'm listening to the real time singing, I can't watch the sing. It's okay. I'm gonna get hated by her fans, but hey, who cares? I ruffle every feather that exists in Dramaland. So by the end of after watching the drama, I'm like, although this drama just does not make sense in every way, still though it's not stupidly unbearable. So it's still like okay to a level, because of the average Chinese drama quality right now is just like so bad that it kind of makes it better. So that's what I think about Kunning. Okay, so so I probably will still make a video talking about it and make it more concise about my complaints about it, but 全靠同行衬托. So 全靠同行衬托的同行, the peers, your colleagues, are none other than Mangoes this year winning crappy drama 以爱为营, only for love. Before this drama aired, I think easily it's Fireworks of My Heart holding that position, but when this drama shows up, it wins. It wins. Like, I put Hidden Love in the middle of my graph just because it has problems that other dramas just, you know, like I said, don't even want to touch. But this drama like was like brave enough to just head over to that weird zone. But then, like, honestly, in terms of like just how overall unbearably ridiculous and bad, and not even one thing about the drama is like in any way making sense for it's like something that's made in 2023 on planet Earth, like on this timeline, right, with all the conditions attached. It's EIWing. It's only for love. How can you make a drama fail in everything in that way? It's just so hard. It's like missing all the right answers at a test that has 100 questions. And you just happen to pick all the wrong answers in that whole thing. And that's hard. It's so intentional. Like, you won't believe that it's just accidental because it misses all the right answers. Like, how can you do that? Is that even possible? Like, by random, like, just like throw a handful of rice and ask a group of chicken to, like, you know, give you answers. Probably you're gonna hit a couple of right ones at least. But anyway, this drama just misses everything, and everything about it is bafflingly wrong. So that's why, like, the totality failure thing is very hard for you to compute. Because of it, because of how completely a failure it is, you just cannot believe it's accidental. It must be intentionally done by the people. Like, they know the right answer for certain things, but they just avoid it skillfully or unskillfully, but intentionally. So that's what 以爱为营 is as a drama. I really tried hard to break this drama down in terms of like what part of it can still be said okay, and I really cannot find any part. And how hard would that be? from the very basic, the camera work, I've already talked about that. It just it just picks so many weird angles. And at the beginning when it has like super low angle, or it has those weird shooting the leg angle, when it had the spinning angle, like all that is, and obviously crazy light that just like completely burns your skin off. I mean, that is like, okay. But then I haven't watched from episode by episode, from episode 25 to the last, but I have seen pretty much all the epic snippets that people put on the internet and rant about it. So I still know the moments. That when they're sleeping in bed and they have what we call on China's internet called 烤羊肉串. Grill, a barbecue, a skewer of a lamb shot, where the camera goes on the side of their bed and it domes on top and it goes down and it flips with the shot, and it goes under their bed and it comes up to the top again, like that shot. What? So apart from on x-axis, on y-axis, you have on z-axis too, like spinning of a camera, circling of a camera. And it's not easy to film that. If you have to do that shot over the bed, like the sun is going over the horizon, you have to set up the gear to actually run that smoothly. And it's not an easily done shot. It's not like 2 minutes you set it up. It's like, what, 2 hours you set it up? And like, what purpose does it serve? And apart from, and then those things and other things like cracking an egg on your face. They put a camera under a glass and then just have Wang Heding crack an egg on top so that all the audiences get an egg face wash. What narrative purpose does it serve? You can't find any reason for people to do that. And I think it's just the director has the very wrong idea about being a director. His purpose is to just do things that other people don't do so that he looks special. Because he actually doesn't understand what makes up a good visual storytelling, and what's good camera work, and what's effective camera work, and what's the tradition in this slightly more than 100 years sort of like tradition of filmmaking, what has been experimented and built up by previous people, and then what has been set up as the traditional our ideas about how you tell a story with pictures. What are the comfortable things people are okay with editing style, with camera work, and on top of that you understand that, and then you want to design something that breaks the tradition. That's called somebody who knows what they're doing, knows their shit. But he doesn't. So he just randomly put things that he thinks is cool because nobody's doing it, and you wonder why people are not doing it. It may be for a very good reason. You wonder why you're not eating poison every day, because you may die from that. And he would just put those shots in for no good reason, and it's just so baffling. So when the drama finished airing was asking for money, right? You have to watch a couple of episodes with paying money. On the day, his hashtag rushed to Weibo's top 1, which is leave idol drama alone, Guo Hu, who's the director's name. He literally got called out by Weibo on top number 1 trending hashtag, calling him leave dramas alone, leave idol dramas alone, director. It's one of the worst I've seen. In the future, if any foreigner who've never watched Chinese drama ask me for advice, it's what's the most ridiculous Chinese drama, the level of unbelievable production thing that exists, I will use this drama as an example, and I think they would be very impressed. So on the very basic level, the director is, and then it uses all your actor's original voice, but Wang Hedi, those super silly lines towards the end of the drama that has to be spoken by him in a close-up with a not standard Mandarin and not trained voice. 你在看什么？我在看你被我亲得意乱情迷， 头发凌乱的样子. That line, oh my god. Okay, first is that line was so cringy. Just when you look at the text, you're not gonna be able to stand it. Then it's delivered by a voice that is completely Sichuan accented in a Mandarin line, and who has no control, again, over his diaphragm. He doesn't know how to pronounce, like the voice quality is just shatters. It's worse than TikTok, like those like short, super short, really crappy dramas. It's so funny. Chunming, thank you for your $5 super chat. Wow. If you haven't watched that scene, what I just talked about, when her ex-boyfriend comes to her apartment and Wang Hedi rushes in and pushes the guy away, close the door, and Beyong, right, grab our female lead, puts her on the wall, kissed her, and afterwards said that line. I'm staring at you being kissed by me to the point that you're 意乱情迷 and your hair's all messy. Oh my god, that line was so bad. Oh my god. On all levels of being a line in a drama and then being delivered by a human, that represents the cringiness of this drama in the most visceral way. Like, you watch it, there's no way you're not gonna have your stomach turned, and then completely goosebumps, and then it's like 抠穿地毯. If you know, your toes are just gonna dig through the floorboards. That's how bad it was in that moment. Thank you for your super chat, GMA Leo. Oh, and then, you know, like, we're not even talking about 上价值 problem, all the wrong values and all the wrong, like, not fitting 21st century basic human values, things that this drama just fully contains. You know, like, a woman's only value is like in relationship and in being pretty and being a wallflower, and then everybody has to be in a relationship. Therefore, like, they're all paired up. It's so awful. The drama is like a breeding ground. It's like every male and female on the same level of storytelling needs to come together. So the male lead and female lead is a pair. The male second and female second is a pair. Male third and female third is a pair. Female lead's boss and male lead's uncle, quotation mark, not real uncle, but it's like a family friend, needs to be together. Even the female lead's lesser important, very, very side colleague needs to be paired up with the male lead's assistant. It's like they cannot resist, right? Just to pair everyone up. And they each all have to breed. And they have to only breed within their own category, like social class, stories, importance. So like 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, upper, like older generation to older generation, and lesser important people, assistant and slaves to assistant and slaves. It's like perfect. Perfect paping, perfect pairing up, perfect breeding for keeping our blood pure, I guess. The human breeds of whatever. And all the other, like, I don't know, all the other things you can rant about this drama is just like, there's too much. Everything is rent worthy and unbelievably stupid. Oh, there's this shot when they're in front of the building, when the female lead comes out and the guy grabs her and she turns around and she looks at the guy, and then in her OS, in her head, is like, 啊，刚才那一幕美到他了吗？ The moment, like, did I like 美到他了吗? Did I just like, I'm so pretty that I completely like she would be thinking in like that, and the guy would just like hold the hand under her head like that, and they would be like staring at each other, and then it's that Vaseline lens and it's all blurred out, and again, and then they kiss, and they show the kiss in a circular motion, and then in the reflection of the hood of the car, because it's very metallic and it reflects them. And when they were actually shooting that scene, it looks absolutely ridiculous. It's actually not even on a track. I think it's on a steady cam, and the cameraman is just like holding the camera and running around them, like pointing the camera at them and running around them in circles. And the group of people are behind this cameraman, just making sure the cables are not tangled up and then he's not tripping. So you see these two kissing, and a group of like 8, 9 people just like running around them, like running around them, holding the camera. And what's the point, really? Like, what does that do? That camera movement and that whole line, like the whole OS in her head is like, 美到她了吗? Oh my god. And then like not even mention the fact that she calls her dad. She calls him dad or he calls him dad. Like, does not matter. Actually, gender is not important in this drama. Just in case you know, in China, people rant about this drama as a BL adaptation, and it's like 2 male leads story. And I mean, that's just totally making a joke on Bailu's whatever. But like the whole thing about like, if I can't do it, I'll call you dad, and then she calls him dad, and also like she's like, I can't put my underwear on, so can you help me? The thing with that is, you're about to go to sleep. You're in your pajamas. Why are you wearing? Like, do people wear bras to go to sleep? Like, I'm just asking for other girls in this world. Okay, females. Like, if you're watching my live stream, am I living in a world that actually like is different from everybody else? Would you actually wear bras to sleep? Why? Why? It's so uncomfortable. But if you're doing it, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying like, because I can't do it. I'll die. It's so uncomfortable. And also like the weight, because she's putting it on and she can't do it. So that means it's the one with all those metal hooks, right? Because if it's like just put it on, then you wouldn't have all the things on the back that you need to put it on. So it would be the hooks one. And the hooks one are usually the day ones. If you really wear something to sleep, usually that would be like softer. Okay, imagine you have all the metal things on your back and you're sleeping like that. How can that be comfortable? It's gonna eat into your skin. It's just not gonna be practical to have like that. But she's like, I'm about to go to sleep. I'm sleepy. Come and put it on for me. But I'm like, if you're going to sleep, why are you wearing that kind of bra? So I'm like, what? And then obviously she has to call him dad, and somehow that makes him very, I don't know. Oh, and it has the part where like he doesn't shower before sex. Ew! Like, I don't care, it's Wang Hedi or whoever. Like, that's disgusting. That's so disgusting. And somehow people think it's romantic. Whoa. And all the directors think it's romantic, and the actors have fun with it. I'm like, whoa. I was like, I just want to drive a fireman's truck and just open the hose and just point it to their bedroom and just turn the water on. If that room is dirty, then it can soiled, then it cannot be used anymore. My mental peace has been soiled by the drama. Who is gonna go in there and clean it out? Oh my god. Yeah, so like it's a drama that can do everything wrong. And I mean, I watched it to up to 24 and made that video, but afterwards things just got worse. And just when you think it's gonna die down and it's gonna be irrelevant and it's gonna be just, like, yeah, they're gonna just keep playing all those things they've done in the previous episodes. They keep surprising you with camera work, with unbelievable actions and languages from characters. How can you be wrong in every question of an exam paper, right? So that makes me question whether it's intentional or completely just because they're dumb that they made it. Now I just don't believe they're that dumb. It's got to be intentional. Anyway, so it's finished. It has cut its it has cut its fandom. Like it has made money, right? Because the last couple of episodes are like pay money in advance. I do think some people probably have. I don't know how many, but as long as Mango is happy, who cares? Wang Hedi, he managed to 飞升 with 苍兰诀, but then immediately after that, you've gotten a not really performing well Fu Tuyuan that doesn't get anywhere. A very small sitcom drama that actually is okay in it, but because the drama is so little that didn't really go anywhere. And then you have this. It's like you've elevated, and then we immediately hammer you down. It's like a boom, 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 boom. Go back to where you. Without the voice dubber, without the director, without a great character, like, can you play magic? Clearly, you cannot. Anyway, but honestly, with this makeup of the team, right, with the director, with the particular script, nobody can save this drama. Like Wang Hedi, Zhang Hedi, Li Hedi, I don't care. Like you can have like Oscar-winning actors to come in, and the best-looking guy is not gonna save this drama. Nobody can save it. It's that bad. Like no matter who plays that role, it's gonna be shitty. If you don't change anything on script level, it's. And then the fact that they have to emphasize in every episode, in every way, from every character's mouth, that 倾国倾城祸国殃民, she is so pretty. It really has made it a laughing stock, and Bailu, because of her consecutively putting out dramas where she is the most pretty person in the whole world, this year three times, and 2 times are actually in a row. First is March, 长月烬明, and then you have 宁安如梦, where she's also like super pretty, like the prettiest of them all, and then obviously the overloaded prettiness of Only for Love. Now it's very unfortunate you have all 3 dramas and they're happening in this way, and all made some kind of impact, and it constantly emphasized the fact that she's pretty and prettiest, that in the future it's just gonna be attached to her forever, which is whenever somebody want to joke about her and they're gonna say, oh, she's the prettiest of them all, and obviously not in a good way. And in a way, it's like Boomerang, because she, like in so many interviews, she's emphasized that she's a man, that she's not a woman, and it's easy to get along with her. She's more like a guy, and then she doesn't like all the girly things, and she's a male. Like she always says that. But then now her boomerang is that she's the prettiest of them all. Forever. In human world, in contemporary dramas, in period dramas, in fantasy dramas, so see, like it's just funny, like how it all played out. It's like like you get what you want, like in that twisted way. Had she not been so associated with this word and being so just like, I don't know, like interested in the fact that she needs to be, whether it's her or whatever, like needs to be reminded all the time that she's pretty. She actually doesn't suit this type of thing, right? If you look at Bailu as an actress, as a raw material, what would be most suitable for her as an actress? She is most suited to play matured, reserved, quiet, having a little bit coldness to her, strong, but not emphasizing on any feminine like quality of her type of female role. That will make her actually a lot prettier. And her makeup style needs to go from that type of, like her overall, say if you're packaging her as a brand, as a person, as an actress, but also as like what type of roles she should be getting, it's the total opposite of what she's getting right now. It should be totally the other type. She's wrong. She put herself in the wrong brackets and wrong categories. She's not a sweet, bubbly, cute girl. She's not. She has that very bone structured, angular face that is made perfect for a very strong, steadfast character that does not need to appeal to anyone with feminine quality. She's neutral, gender neutral, or slightly even like masculine. It will make her actually immediately stand out a lot more than others. But she's completely picking the wrong direction to go, and the harder she tries, the more problematic it will become. Like totally wrong. Remember when she first showed up in like on everyone's radar a lot of quite some time ago. She actually had a lot better. Like I remember the days when she had good reputation as an actress. It's like not so long ago, 3-5 years ago. She would actually have a much better like people have a lot better impression of her with her playing that 民国 drama or Yu Zheng has, like where she plays a man most of the time, or with even like back in the days of Zhao Yao where she has it with with Xu Kai. That was the time when she still had a really good reputation in Dramaland and hopefuls of the age range actress she's in. And in recent 2-3 years, she completely crashed it. Like it's just totally going to the wrong direction. It means she actually doesn't know herself. Like she doesn't know she doesn't know what her strong, like what's my strength and weakness, and how do I skillfully navigate and obviously enlarge and make my strength bigger, and then hide my weaknesses and tweak my, because nobody is perfect and nobody is like all full range, everything you can do. Everyone has a limit, right? And it just means 没有自知之明. And it's very neutral, like I'm saying it, not in any way like it's a, like in a bad way. It's literally like she doesn't know what actually is her best tool and like what's her potential in. With the raw material, what's the best thing you can make out of it with all the. It's like a craftsman when they see a diamond, a raw diamond or a raw gem. It's like, where do I need to make the cut to make it shine most? She personally, like herself, has no idea. She's completely using 努力 in the wrong way. So the harder she tries, the further she moves in the wrong direction, and it just makes, we get this year's problem with her 3 dramas that are like kind of nailing her to the Dramaland as the prettiest of them all in the jokingly manner. It's just like, unfortunate. So that's that drama. We're already at 11:18. And then this week we have Warshan completely deleting everybody on his social media. And I don't know what's going to happen with 2 and 3. I still think the 2 and 3 movie of Creation of Gods so far is still going to show. But like, right, it's no longer like that. Like people who know what's going on, like know about all those gossips are gonna have problems with it, like at some level. And it just depends on if this thing keeps fermenting and get even worse in the next half a year to come. If nothing happens anymore and it just stops there, maybe in summer it's still gonna be okay and most people will forget about it by then. But if this thing has any further development, whether it's on the Chen Muchi, the actor, or because of the actor is being like scrutinized and internet is just interested in this thing, and then other people on crew have their older skeletons dug up, and then it just adds on top of it. You never know what's going to happen in the entertainment business. It's just so high risk these days, and anything can happen. And just that whole what is going on with Fengshen is. So these days, probably like super big projects are just so risky. Smaller, sweeter, flying under the radar, making enough money back, but not make a huge impact, but still everybody involved is happy. Probably is the best type of project you can be doing if you are an investor in drama, filmmaking. It would be clever to avoid huge projects that involves 3,000 people, 10 years. Oh, good luck, right? One of them blow up, your whole boat is like. I feel that's just like really unfortunate, but also just the whole episode, how it unfolds between 陈木真and Wu Chuyi. I was watching on the side. I'm like, oh my god, what the heck am I looking at? You know, like, this type of thing probably happens all the time, but it's just nobody really puts it out there. Like, put all the recording on public display and just let you hear all the process and the specific moments when it's happening and how people are. It's like, I'd rather not know that side of humanity. Can I just like unsee it and unhear it? Obviously you can't. And it just gives you that overall very like that attitude. It's like yeah. And I envy people who do not understand Mandarin perfectly by their ears, so that you don't have to get that direct first-hand experience of when you listen to a recording and you can totally see with your mind's eye about the facial expression and the action of the person saying that, and it totally embarrasses you. You listen to that and you're like, oh my god, my toes are ticking through the floorboards again. In a live, like, it's such a live example of Yu Hua's writing, that famous writer who wrote the novel of To Live and He Bian Cuo Wen. So many, like, he is the he's the guy who probably should get the highest literature awards in recent couple of decades. Anyway, like, he has this famous paragraph about he's gonna kneel, he's gonna cry, he's gonna slap his face in front of you, he's gonna swear to whatever, and he's gonna promise you anything, and he's and don't ever believe him. He has that paragraph of writing, and you just see a human live action version playing out in the sound recording version, but still, it's just like all perfectly on spot. And actors are just so much better in real life than when they're on camera, when they're acting. Wow. Not surprising. So that whole episode just like opened my eyes up again. I mean, it's not really opening my eyes up. I just like don't really want to face it. But yeah, when somebody shows you, it's like, yeah, okay, all right, enough. Yeah. So now I have like I mean, I don't have a huge interest in Creation of Gods. I was just like, it would be great to have the next two films, and definitely it's still worth like watching in some way. But then, right now I'm just like, whatever. It shows up, it doesn't show up, it's not gonna change anything for me. It's more like the type of maybe it's just a good lesson for me. Just like in the future, don't invest if I ever get the opportunity and in the position like to invest in such a crazy project. Just don't do it. Too many moving parts and unreliable and potential landmine elements that's beyond the person's personal control. Make it 小而美, small and pretty, not big and epic. No. Wow. Just from an investor standpoint to think about this whole thing, I'm like, wow. That's just some. You need some blind luck to get it work. And probably consult a really good fortune teller and just to see if in your chart you're meant to do something that big and it's going to be fine. Because somehow history decided you're going to be the person in human history to manage to pull something off like that. Double confirm it, triple confirm it, and then find a safety net and ways to get out of it. Get all of that ready before you just like ever even attempt heading into such a crazy project like Creation of Gods. It's probably the best lesson for me to learn. Dream smaller. Dream smaller. So that's one part. Earlier somebody was saying something. Let me just see. There are still something there. Breakdown. Quick breakdown of the scandal. Do people not know? It's been fermenting for over a month. It's just so complicated. A lot of episodes, basically, like a lot of like different stages of how it all happened. It's like something that's not huge, but had they put a damper on it and controlled it at early stage, nothing would be relevant now. Nothing would get to this point. But because of the complete stupidness of whether it's Chen Mushi himself or his team, like who's in charge of all his public relation, whatever, because of the complete stupidness of incompetence of their work, literally incompetence, that it ended up like looking like this today. Earlier, and I said like, what scandal? So a lot of people don't know about that. Okay, let me think. What would be? Is he soft banned? I don't know, but the drama did get postponed. I think they're just waiting to see if any further, because because the other guy is the time bomb. If that guy just releases more materials, it may be just like the last, like on Camel's back that destroys everything. So probably for drama's point of view, they're like, let's just wait out for a bit, see if any further development is going on, and if it's safe to come out, we'll come out. But so that's why I don't think it's cancelled or banned. It's just like people are weighing and trying to figure out if they can be sure if shit's gonna blow up or not. I think that's why. Soft ban is kind of like Song Zhuar. Now I think Song Zhuar is like not really with any public announcement, but kind of hard banned, because tax is something you just are not allowed to touch anymore. You have a tax problem and clearly it's like that you're dead. It's like they don't have to come out and say anything about it, but see, everybody who had a tax problem, nobody has come back yet. As big as Fan Bingbing and Deng Lun, like they're all gone. Like, so I don't think it's soft ban. It's just like we don't mention it, but goodbye. Like more like that. 听关词的普通话 I haven't. I know it's there. I can. Like anytime. I just... In a way, I'm grown out of... Not grown out of. I'm just so tired, really, with all the shit that comes with this genre in China. Unfortunately, right? If it's just work itself, it's either good or bad, you like it or not. But because of how it has manifested in human realm, in the world of... It's attached to too many bad memories and too many bad energies, really, really twisted and bad energies, that most of the BL stuff now these days is like I don't voluntarily go seek it out, just because even when it's just 纸片人, even when it's just two-dimensional world, it's messy. And Zhang Linghe did play, right, a human version of it, where you probably never gonna see it in drama form now, but it's filmed, it's done. Hey. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Chen Wuchi's details things. It's really not worth it. It's just it's just like right now he would not have the best reputation out there, just because like those recordings are just very embarrassing to listen to, like by any human being standard. Like he listened to the way he basically says, the recording just shows like the conversation, like he says it, like put it out under the sun, which is everybody knows but nobody talks about it, right? You wouldn't publicly say about that, and it's a private conversation between him and the guy, but the guy did it because he didn't do what he's promised to do, therefore he released the recording. But in that, it just shows you all the things that's going on in entertainment business under the surface, and it's going on, it's just nobody's talking about it. Well, now it's like just putting it out there and let you view and listen to, frankly, how blatantly people are doing it. I think particularly the words where he's saying, we've got this gossip thing right now is hot in China, it's really a good thing. And that guy is like, no, it's not good. It's not good to me, personal life. And Chen Wuchi would emphasize, yes, it's shitty, but then all top traffic people gets, this type of treatment. And since it's already happened, might as well just take advantage of it. Basically, that's what he means. It's like we have to tie together and then just write out this whole thing and harvest from this traffic as much benefit as we can and use that for our own whatever. Because since we already suffered all all these things on internet, might as well just make use of it and get most out of it. So we have to like head into this, bravely embrace it, and just get all the 黑红 benefit that we can get from it. He just puts it out very frankly and blatantly, and I know like everyone knows it, but nobody says about it. And when you do, it just, it's not pretty to see, basically. And then let alone the things like he kneels, and then it's like, oh my god, no, it's so embarrassing. Just think about that boyfriend you have in your life who is just like kneeling in front of you and begging you to do this and that for them, because if you don't, it's gonna not look good for them, and they promise you this and that they're gonna do, but they never do it. But then for that moment, trying to coax you into agreeing with them, they can do anything. They can completely give up their integrity just for that, and it's just not pretty. Aside, it happens in life more than you think, but you still probably preferring not to see it, and that's what that is. And then there's this film that I talked about in a weekly video about like how backlash it receives hugely. Like 我本是高山, English title is Beyond the Clouds. It's a biography film about a real female-only high school headmaster's personal story of the last couple of decades of what she's trying to do in very poor villages, trying to help the girls get out of the trap of basically their poverty-stricken and no future life. And she is very well known in China. Everybody knows her because she gets the highest award as being a civilian you can possibly get in China. And that's only given to very few people. It's very hard to get that, okay? You have to like basically like a national hero to get that, and she's one of those people. So she's like so well known in China, and her life story is quite incredible. What she managed to achieve. So she's this larger than life kind of person who's made a real impact in the world. And they use her like it's her biography film, and then they just again like avoid all the good correct answers and caused a huge wave of backlash in China. I haven't seen the movie, so that's the hard part. I haven't seen it, so how am I supposed to talk about it? But I know enough about why people complain about it, like the points pretty much everybody would rant about when they are not happy with the film, about why there's such a huge and strong reaction to it. And we also see, because of the online opinion about that film is so negative, immediately the scriptwriter went crazy. It's like, think about Wang Yixu during Love You 7 Times airing when the drama flopped. The producer and the owner of Hengxin Yinli, during the summer when the Ding Yuxi and Yang Chaoyue drama flopped, he went crazy. He went crazy on social media and start to send out those like long posts about like ranting about like going crazy. The scriptwriter of this film did the same thing. This year we actually had a lot of scriptwriter directors going crazy because their work is not accepted and they just can't accept that. And they start to lash out on audiences, on everybody, and think the whole world is against them. And they never reflect on the fact that they actually made really crappy stuff. So this scriptwriter also went crazy, and they just started another round of internet fights. So this year, very weirdly, 2023, we've had multiple directors, scriptwriters of a drama or a film complain about the fact that their work is not loved, and then getting more hate and laughed at by doing that. It's like things just happen in cluster. Every year has its theme in every field. In entertainment land, drama, Filmland this year is one big theme is about unimportant supporting and the guest roles unintentionally getting bigger than the main roles and starts a huge wave of a fight. The other theme is people who make stuff that's so outdated that gets complained about, their targeted audiences wouldn't refuse to accept the fact that they failed big time. So these are like the two big themes we have in Chinese entertainment this year. That's just funny to observe. It just happens together. They cluster and they just keep showing up. It's like every year has its theme, right? So this year in entertainment business, it's not. And mainly that whole film, the biggest problem I think people have with it is the fact that this drama completely takes out the female lead characters, her importance, like her as an initiative person of her decisions and what she does. And they contribute that completely to she has a dead husband in her head that's supporting her whenever she gets a difficult situation. It's not herself, her belief in the fact that her work is meaningful. And she's also a Communist Party member for years. And she's very, very like one of those people who really believe in the written words about liberating the humanity, you know, creating that sort of like equal, like everybody is equal for real in the world. And she's one of those people these days very hard to find actually even with a Communist Party member in China who actually believe it in a very candid and sincere way. And so her belief is a little bit beyond most people's grasp just because she's so idealistic in her belief and so strong. And therefore I think the whole trend of undermining the greatness that has been in Chinese culture, sort of productions for the last 30 years or so, because ever since everything's economic shift in the 80s and 90s, a lot of like even from top down, the whole view has become in a way is like let's make the story relevant to on a personal level, make the human story human. Therefore, we intentionally put the emphasis on the fact that your belief can actually change everything, put a damper on that and make it irrelevant or less important, and then put the personal story higher. And it's actually from top down, it's been like that for content creation in writings and in films. It has become a trend and it has inertia. So it's basically inertia into the extreme version today, where in this film they contribute all her great work to the fact that she has a god in her head who is the dead husband. And whenever she's in trouble, she goes for that dreamland to look for that person to give her strength. And they think that makes it, like that's explaining why she can do all the work she does, which is very hard and for years, like a lot of difficulties. And I think that just happens to run. We're heading to what right now in the general public's view of the fact that she can do all this much because she is so loyal to her own belief, and she really believes in that. She made it happen, and it's her hard work. Yes, she had the husband that she lost for like 13 years, and it's important to her, but that's like a dead person is not what motivates her. And she's not like she is the main character of her story, not a dead ghost of the past, and she has to still sort of like in a way submit to a dead husband role. And that angers so many people in China, and that's the biggest problem this film has. And it just shows the people who are making it are on a different, like completely different view of the world than most of the general public these days, and they're not catching up. Basically, the people who are writing the scripts and making the film are very behind of the trend and what the thought movement, right, that's in the world, that's going on in the world they live. They live in a different world, and they put out something that they think is good, and it just angers everyone. Obviously, this film has other things that angers people, such as in the original sort of there's a documentary, and there's actually interviews about, like, she's got a lot of footage, the real headmaster. She's got a lot of things on internet, and such as like when they go into the villages, a student whose mother is an alcoholic in the film. I mean, in real life, it's actually a father, you know, so like switching the gender and all that, it just makes people even more angry. And then they would depict all the girls who ended up in her high school are just the traditional rebellious kid who wouldn't want to get schooled, who would go out and like run out of the school at night and not abiding to the curfew, and go to the town to internet cafe to play games, and she has to go and grab those girls back. And it's just so wrong, because her school is in the mountain, and she's basically getting all the poor kids who cannot afford schools and who wants to go to school, the girls into her school for free. And all the girls who managed to end up there were so like just grateful for the opportunity. Otherwise, they would never even get educated in that way. And so none of them would actually go out and play. Like they would all study themselves to death because that's the only opportunity they're ever gonna get to manage to say getting close to go through that exam and fly out of the mountain to go to a big city to have a future. So these girls who would be like, they get up at 5 a.m. every day, study, and until like 12 midnight go to sleep. And that's that high school. It's cruel as hell because that's the only way to make them go through the exam and being able to go to a university or a big city. Otherwise, they will never be able to. It's the only way. It's no choice. And she doesn't like it either, but she would force the girls to do that. And those girls would willingly take that opportunity. They know it's hard, but it's better than staying in the village and marry a 60-year-old guy when you're 18 and marry off just for money. You know, that's like the future, you know, two futures. Which one do you want to take? And you have to give up things for that. So the whole sort of like the girls have like conflict with the headmaster in the story, where you have to have that as a story. It's completely detached from reality. It's like the writers are from big cities and they think the bad students are the bad students who don't want to study, who don't want to follow the teacher's instructions. And that's the bad kids. But whereas, you know, like in the mountains, it's like the girls who struggles to stay in school and then they get pulled out of the school by their parents, by their grandparents, by this and that. And headmaster has to fight against that. Like that's their difficulty, not the other way around. So this film just does everything basically that's like in the film that's wrong, not really adhere to the fact of what is going on in her school. And they had the screening actually with her, like the actual person, the biography person, the headmaster, her teachers at her school, the local education board person, and the main creatives, the main actors, the main directors, like they were at a screening of this film together. And afterwards, like the headmaster herself refused to do any interview and say her opinion about it at all. And then those characters who has who in the drama in the film, such as the other teachers at the school, that like based on, so the real person in life, and then there's a version in the film that it's based on. There's one teacher who stand up and literally said, I'm that person, but I never did that. Or there's another like local education board guy stood up and say, I'm that person, but I never shouted at our headmaster. We're actually very good friends and we communicate like this. And then herself just refuses to interview. Like imagine how embarrassing that is. Like you're sitting there watching a film that's about your life story and it's just completely off. And you're still alive, and you're like the national heroes. You don't necessarily, you know, like wanna publicly accuse them of anything, but you're so embarrassed of looking at your whole life story unfold before you in the most twisted way. That's some cruel, very cruel thing to do to a person. Yeah, and Huge is the dead husband. Huge plays the dead husband. And okay, so Huge flies on. Huge gets away with a lot of things because so many people have filters on him. I have too. From Chinese Paladin to Nirvana in Fire, because of those couple of really good work he's done, he kind of can get away with anything. But like apart from these couple of works, he really hasn't done that many good things. And the fact is, in real life, he's said a lot of things that are very offensive, actually. From today's, like our perspective from 2023, like the very extremely inappropriate things, like on a very misogynistic level. He's done that in public, and it's there. Like if you want to search, you'll find out what he said before, and it's pretty embarrassing. So he already has that. Some people who knows about it, but not everyone. And then they just picked him to play this like female lead character's spiritual guide. and teacher who's dead, but he owns her. And they picked him to play it. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, that's a good choice. People, what are you thinking? Yeah, you hear 胡歌, it's 胡歌, it's 逍遥哥哥, it's 梅长苏. 胡歌 plays the dead husband. He's very unsuitable, let's just say, for that role, please. Holy shit, why? Maybe he was drunk. No, he's not drunk when he said those things. The type of, like, if you find a girlfriend, what would you accept, like, the girlfriend being, like, a long time ago, right? Being the same actress in the same profession as you, and he's like, no. Because he basically, like, the way he says it is like he needs somebody to like, in a way, acting as the nanny, right? For, like, the wife needs to take care of the home business, and it wouldn't work with an in industry colleague. Yeah. So he has a pretty standard view of female as a general Chinese male guy of his age. Like, it's not weird or it's not unheard of. It's very common, actually, for most of the guys. It's nothing weird. But so it would be very, actually, like, just because this particular lady who's done so much work in real life, you know, like, you find it's very, actually, not suitable to cast him as the dead husband. But oh, he said even worse things. 胡歌 in the past. I mean, the thing is, digging out skeletons is something. If you want to dig somebody's everything they've said in the past, right? You can always find things wrong with that if they lived long enough. And nobody's perfect, and sometimes it may be said under circumstances that are this and that, and maybe, like, at the time when it was said, it's nothing weird. Everybody is thinking that way, or it's just like, at that time the society just doesn't look at it as a problem, so they say it. And because, you know, you can't live out of your time, and it's very difficult for you to be very, very ahead of things and being very sensitive to this. Like, I predict the future 10 years later, everybody's gonna have internet and they're gonna dig out everything I've said. You can't do that. So it's unfair in a way to think about, like, he said that once before, therefore he's a bad person. I don't think that makes sense. But then again, you know, like, because it's known, you know, like, when you cast people, maybe you can do a better job of, like, picking the perfect person. It's just very unfortunate that they picked Hu Ge in this. And Hu Ge recently just hasn't put out very good stuff for a long time now. So people are starting to feel like he's just too lazy. He's 躺在功劳簿上睡大觉, right? He's sleeping on the bed of the previous stuff that he's done prices, and he's not working anymore. He's not, like, and people already are complaining about the fact that he really isn't doing much, and somehow still enjoys all the after effect of his fame and stuff. And already is not in the best position, and then they just happen to cast him as the dead spiritual guide of the real life epic woman hero. So, like, imagine that. It's just not ideal, a situation. Yeah, so you do hope them keep growing, changing, but you do know, like, who he married to, right? It's kind of exactly what he said. He wants, like, when there's a wife in his life, he wants the woman to be functioning as what? So, people may change, people may not. Who knows? And does it really matter? I mean, as an actor, and from my point of view, like, I just want good work coming out of, like, if he can do it. But other things does not matter to me, really, that much. As long as, like not clearly breaking the law, and then, you know, doing epically crappy stuff, not any of my business. And then one final thing is Wei Fan's gotten his second court trial. So he got sentenced to 13 years, right? And then he appealed, and the whole process has gone through. And a couple of days ago, the second court proceeding is done, and the verdict is 维持原判. So it's done. It's not gonna get a third one. It's basically the second trial is gone, and it's, like, still keeping to the original one. So 13 years for sure. He's gonna get a full 13 years. Right now, he's already done 2. Considering the time he gets incarcerated to now, it's already 2 years. So he's got 10 year and a half or 11 years, 10 years and a half, something like that, to left on his sentence. Depending on what he does, right, in prison, if he's like a really good prisoner, he may get it reduced a bit. But then, let's say roughly around 10 years later, he will finish his sentence and then immediately get deported, like kicked out of China. But once he's done that, he's just like out of China immediately. That would, like, we shall see after that, like what Canada is gonna do. I'm not familiar with Canada's judicial system. It's like what's the process, whether there is any form of public prosecution that automatically applies to people who are charged with this type of cases of Canada, like in other countries, right? Whether it's gonna be, unless somebody then you, or it's public, I have no idea. So what's gonna happen to him depends on exactly how the law works here, because he is Canadian national. So once he gets that, he, technically speaking, will immediately get sent to Canada. Like, I don't think there's another way or not other place he can go to. Technically speaking, right, his passport is Canadian. So we found, yeah, he is fans. I don't think the fans actually care about him, really. I don't think any fans who are like out of like their wits and out of like a normal rationality of defending their idols when their idols have done something wrong clearly, to like maybe after, like when it just happened for a while, you're like that, but you're attached to that. But after a while, you cool down and your rational mind should return, right? And afterwards, it's just gonna be. And if after years and years you're still like really, really attached to that, then it's actually not about you really love your idol anymore. It's not like that. Like you're basically brainwashing yourself into believing you're doing it for that reason. But no, you're attached to your own demon. It's a form of projection, and you put some kind of value that you treasure onto that person. You project it onto that person, and therefore safeguarding that person's reputation is basically protecting yourself not getting attacked or not facing your own actual problem. You offload that to that imagery so that you can still have some kind of bearings about what you think of yourself. That's a psychological. It's totally not to do with that person. And that person can completely be can be anyone. And you don't really actually love that person, that specific human. You know nothing about them. You've never even talked to them. Like, you don't even know in their presence, when they're in the same room as you are, what their vibration is like. You never touched it, you never tasted it, you don't know anything. You're just totally imagine. It's a thought game. You have that person set up there, and it's like, I am so, you're just moving yourself to tears with the fact that you're still fighting their war, and somehow you should get rewarded. And that's totally on you, like your problem. You need to get that sorted out. That's like, and it has nothing to do with that specific idol. It could be Kris Wu, it could be anybody, right? And no matter how ridiculous the thing they've done in real life that put them in their position, there will always be the type of fans who would defend them to the end of time. And they're not defending that person, they're defending themselves. That's what is really happening. And these people, if they cannot sort out the problem they have themselves, it's gonna keep happening in their life. And if this idol is like falling out of their favor, they're gonna immediately hook onto another one, latch onto another one. It's the same, like people actually dig the process of falling blindly into love with somebody they can never touch. And then they have this game in their head, and they seek out potential enemies for that person. And then if that thing for some reason just breaks, they immediately goes to the next one. They are addicted to that process of projecting themselves and doing that game. And it does not matter who the person is. It could be anybody. It could completely be a different one 3 months from now. But they're not going to get out of it unless they realize the thing they're doing what it really is. You're not gonna break the cycle. You're just gonna keep finding the next target to put that on and to have that game and keep going until one day it ruins your life, or maybe like it like suddenly it dawns on you. It's like, this is just stupid. But until that happens, it's just, like, some people are in process, right? There are always gonna be people who are in that process, and they may get out of it next week or next month or a year from now or 10 years, you know, or never. Who knows? But that's the real thing that's happening with people who have this type of psychological thing going on. So it has nothing to do with the actual idol. It's just an excuse. It's a front. It's a front. And your head and your very complicated human psyche and your ego is very masterful into lying to itself about what you're doing. You're gonna so believe that you're defending them, but you're not. That's what it really is. So these days that's like, yeah, so yeah. I've learned that in the last couple of years with a lot of live examples showing up in my life. I'm like, okay, that's a person who's addicted to that. And I'm like, good luck. Hope you get out of it soon. And you know, so these are things I think in Dramaland we've had this week that are pretty interesting to observe. So ultimately, I think you just take a step back, right, and view the whole thing, whatever scandal, gossip, and situation you're looking at, and just like take a step back and seeing what's unfolding in front of you, and it just becomes a very interesting observation of the undercurrent of this world, of the energies of things that are moving towards certain directions, and it's funny. I think just think about as a theater play, and you're just in audience seat and just watching it all happening. Yeah, and that makes it most valuable and interesting, I say. Anything else anyone want to say or ask? And before we go, we're already 2 hours, pretty much. Rising with the Wind. The review will come out next week. I have finished watching it. You know, like so many dramas. Lily Tree. Good actor, bad person. Yeah, that's very normal. You're good at your professional job, but you're an actual jerk. Like, how many people actually have been like that in real life? I mean, Steve Jobs is a genius, but like people who work with him, there are a lot of complaints about what kind of person he is, right? And that's like one of the most best known cases in recent history. You've had so many famous people in history who are like great poets, great like writers, philosophers, I mean whatever, scientists who've made humanity, like humanity would not be what it's like without them. But does not change the fact that they're jerks in life, and they have like life stories recorded that will just make your jaw drop, and you're like, what? So many people are like that. Isn't that like, so if that's okay, you know, like to actors, that's just so normal, you know, like you're good at your professional job, but you are a completely crappy person in life. And they're very good people who are just like angels, right, in life. The best people you can have, but they suck at doing anything they are supposed to do, like in a like a functional sense. Who are just so bad at doing any professional stuff they're supposed to do, but they're still very good people. You know, that like a lot of people are like that too. So just like everybody is multifaceted and complicated. Upcoming drama quickly. Very soon we're gonna have the Liu Yuning, Liu Shishi. Let's see what's gonna happen. The manga one that went live yesterday, I haven't checked yet. I'll try my best to take a look at it. And we have, what else? 谭健次 drama coming out at the end, so I probably will check that out for a bit to see if. But I like I said, for those type of romantic dramas, I have very reserved opinions about them until they show up. So 28th, 30th, and we don't have anything yet telling you like December, anything is gonna come out, but probably tomorrow, Monday comes, you're gonna hear news about new dramas getting scheduled for the busiest month, December. Wonderland of Love, I've seen first 12, 13, 14, 16, okay, probably up to 18 episodes. And then I gave it a break, and then I came back to right now, like when it basically has finished if you pay money. I've seen a couple of recent episodes. I haven't seen the whole thing. It's one of those dramas, I just don't know what I can say about it. It's not bad at all, but then it's very, personally, I have zero reaction to it. Because it's not bad. Therefore, you cannot even rant about it. It's like if 宁安如梦 has parts that you are like actually laughing at, the terrible camera work or lighting or whatever, line delivery, you can rant. But this drama dubbed, so you cannot rant about line delivery. Acting is not bad, but not super good either. And then the plot is not bad. It's pretty reasonable, but then it's also like when you drag it out to 40 episodes, it still feels like, to me, it feels at times I'm a little bit tired of watching. It's just not so well written, so well produced, but good enough, but then not in any way so bad that you can rant about it. Therefore, I find it's just hard to talk about. I don't know what to talk about Wonderland of Love. It will be like, it's okay, 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 it's okay. And it's okay for you to watch. Like, I would be saying that constantly through that video of review. It's like, it's not that good, but it's not that bad. It's not that good, it's not that bad. It's just gonna be like that. So, maybe I'm not gonna talk about it just because I watched it, but I was like, it's just, you can, and you can also not, and it's not gonna make a difference in your life type of drama to watch or to not watch it. That's Wonderland of Love. It's just so neutral, actually, in every way that they took out all the things you can potentially rant about it. So, Lost to Forever, they haven't said anything now, but it could be like tomorrow, Monday. It's like we're gonna air on the like whatever of December, because waiting for the time, right? It's almost at the limit of like you can put out the second season, so it may happen. I mean, I think Tencent would try to make it happen before the end of the year. Best and worst drama video, maybe, but it depends. Because worst dramas, you already know, the 5 ones I have said. And then the best one, really this year, to me, not that many. 3 Body, Here Comes Trouble. The Heart is good enough, but, you know, like, it's not perfect. But then, compared to other dramas, I like it. If I have to squeeze another one in middle of the year, I really like Be Your Own Light. It's actually unexpectedly good, because it's just so realistically depicting the life of the 3 female lead characters. And Liu Yuning actually worked out the perfect chemistry with Liu Tao that I completely didn't see coming. So that's actually a really good drama and so underrated and nobody's watching. These 4 dramas gave me probably the best impression so far this year among the dramas I've watched. Yeah, so it's not like a really full list or a very promising list, and I know there are more popular dramas this year, like Lost to Forever, like Lotus Mystery Casebook and all that. To me, they don't work that well, and it's just honestly my opinion, you know. It's like, yeah, it is what it is to me. So what else do we have? Like, I hope like at least we can get one really good one before this year end. But maybe I'm hoping for too much. Just feeling for it right now is maybe not gonna happen. Yeah, so these are the dramas, I think, and then I mean, it could, like, the Kendo in Tomb drama could have come out, like, right now, could be on air just because of the Chen Muchi thing. It's, like, on hold, so you don't know if, like, December is gonna bring it back. If you like that particular genre of drama, it's one of the more successful franchise we've had in recent couple of years of the tomb raiding type of drama with Pan Yuemin. Yeah, just right now you don't know what's gonna happen with that one. And then I don't think like Joy of Life is like filming or just finished filming or hasn't finished filming. It's not gonna show up until next year. Like not anywhere close to getting finished. I think all platforms have a couple of dramas on hand that they can put out now. They just depends on how they're gonna play the chess for the end of the year configuration. 复辟的荣耀 I watched a little bit, didn't get into it, so I don't know later whether it's that good. Last Immortal, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Haven't heard anything. Recent updates. Like for the type of like fantasy pair drama, I'm just like I hold zero expectation these days. Particularly when you look at a cast, you know what type of drama it may be. You're just like, yeah, not gonna put a lot of like, you're not gonna bet a lot of money on it being very good. As long as it's not embarrassingly bad, it's good enough. This is the situation. Drama, drama. I haven't watched. If anybody watched, let me know, because it went live last night, right? Pretty much 25th. I think 25th was the first day. I haven't even managed to click open Mango. Because I clicked open 花儿与少年 on Mango and just to see what's the recent update of the traveling variety show. That's actually really fun. This season 5 is really fun. People are so normal in this year's 花儿与少年 that it's like a breath of fresh air of normal people in this show. Meet Yourself. What's the Chinese title? Meet Yourself. There are too many like Be Yourself, Meet Yourself, Love Yourself, blah blah. Like I forgot its Chinese title. Meet Yourself. What's the Chinese title? I if you type it out, I'll immediately know. But I can't link the English to the Chinese now. My brain is not letting me know. 去有风的地方 yeah, because that's right at the beginning, right at the beginning of the year. Yeah, it's a very chill drama. It's very chill. It's like the type of put it on and take a bath and lit a candle, read a book. That type of drama. Yes, it's so relaxed that I forgot of its existence. See, you still need some punch to leave an impression. Otherwise, it just blows over like a nice wind, or a nice summer breeze that you forget about its existence. It's like that. It's pretty. It's nice, but it's just so relaxed and happy that you forget that it's there. Rewatching Untamed again. Like now when you look back on Untamed, like particularly after I've been to Hongdian, right? It's just I just go, oh, that's filmed there. And then you realize like how over the top the color grading of Untamed is, because that's not what that space and the color of that place actually looks like. They just first as production designed it, and then they in post-production, wow, the grading of Untamed, they could completely manipulate the color to the point where, yeah. Now I look, if I like when I view Untamed now, like because when I was editing, I did click back to the episodes a bit. Its color grading is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But back then, you don't really mind, right? Because you're like it's just so. But now when you look back, right, step back, and just from production standard point of view, it's like, wow, that color grading is really really bad. Like, ooh, wow, why did they pick that? Among the got famous BL dramas in the last 5, 4, 6 whatever years, I still think, although it does not have money, right, Guardian has somebody behind the camera who understands framing, telling a story with visual, even when they don't have the best equipment and money on their hand. They know, for example, what is the focal length, what is the angle, to best flatter the actors, but also tell the story. And then also, for the particular scene, is it happy, relaxed, comedy moment, intense emotional moment, filled with doubt and question moment? What's the basic undertone of the emotion of that scene? And then how do we use camera to subtly signal people this is the scene that needs to be viewed from this point of view? If you compare Guardian, Untamed, and World of Honor, like this couple of like got big BL dramas in the last couple of years, Guardian's camera still is the most trained camera. Like it knows what it's doing in every shot and what it's trying to. It's like what's going on in the person behind the camera. They're trying to achieve with my particular framing, lens choice at this moment, angle, lighting, everything. Like you can tell that person knows what they're doing, even when they don't have the best things on hand and they're rushing through a typical television production in China. And then Untamed probably is the weakest in terms of the person who is doing that actually knows exactly what they're doing. And that's just my opinion, okay? But now you think back on these things. Yeah, it's all in the past. Does not matter anymore. People have moved on. All the actors have moved on. All the like moved on, and it's like only the people who are shipping them are still shipping them themselves. Are like they barely even see it. Like they don't show up in public together ever, right? The 同行即冤家 problem. Peers are also your enemies. So 5 more minutes and I'll be off. And if you're like where you are is midnight, go to sleep. Monday is working day. I'm not ready to move on. Everything has its time. Now I think back on from 18 to 21, the 3-4 years of a lot of BL stuff, right? And you look back on it as a whole, you kind of almost feel like it can only happen at that particular juncture of time and space. It really is as above, so below. Because at the time, it's the perfect timing for it to happen, and everything is like coming together, the synergetic, and it puts out this. Now the time has moved on. The energy of the world is shifting. It's never gonna come back. It's gone in the past. It's just a part of history. And this type of energy is just not there anymore. So on the surface, it is like, say, policy comes down and say we're not making BL anymore, and this and that is stopping it from happening. But think about when it was popular and why it all just flourishes in China in that way. But then it gets like it's almost like it has run its natural course, and now it's just no longer. It's time. It's moving on to the next stage of things. Yeah, they're still producing BLs in other countries. Yeah. China is not the only country, but to China, it has run its course. It's done. And again, it's just in a way you think about why BL exists, right? BL exists because it's really the female perspective of idealizing or looking at that type of relationship. It's a projecting that kind of view that's actually not reality, because BL is BL. BL is not real life homosexual relationship at all, right? So it belongs to the nature of it. Just means it's subculture. It's just never gonna be the mainstream culture because of the nature of it. And then if you look at it from this type of like almost do a PhD cultural movement, it's related to women's sort of like it's like the precursor of the 20 years to come from next year, because 24 to 44 is gonna be a mainly running on fire energy and mid age female energy era. The last 20 years we've had is earth energy And its representation on I Ching is a mountain, a white, I think it's a white mountain, is it? Let me think about that. Anyway, it's on earth energy, it's earth energy, and it's represented as humans by young male. So, last 20 years is when 小鲜肉 got popular in entertainment business. And the masculinity represented by young men who are lesser of a matured, masculine, traditional, like that type of male, but more like a pretty boy male. And you see that in global culture, not just in China, right? And how that kind of comes from Asia mostly, but then it also in West, actually, you have it last 20 years mostly. The popular thing stays with the young men. And that is the last 20 years of Bayun's energy. And we're from actually usually a year or so before the next shift of the next era, energy is already coming in. So 2023 is the precursor of from 24 officially starting into the next 20 years. It's the ninth in Chinese. How am I supposed to say that? And if we're looking at things on a big picture as a whole, the next 20 years of the energy, let's say, of the that's gonna get reflected in everything, in personal life, in finance, in the world's industry, in development of science, in thought waves of new waves of thoughts, social movements. Everything is gonna reflect the energy of fire. Mid-age female, like the mid is very big, not just like restricted to. It's more like a not super young girl, not old woman. Let's safely say from 25 to like 50-year-old, like that matured woman, and related to fire. The relevance of little fresh meat is gonna die down, and it's just gonna happen. You can't stop it. It's up there. It's in the stars, and it's gonna as above so below. So the female themed thing are gonna be very much on the front page and forefront of everything, and it's usually represented by mid-age woman, with a very broad idea about what mid means. And then culturally, fire is related to very abrupt things, like in energy and I Ching. So fire would be something, things will happen very fast and they'll come out and immediately disappear. It's like fireworks. So everything is not going to be steady. In the earth 20 years, everything happens, build up, happens. You have a steady climb of things and then it goes away. And in fire 20 years, it's going to be pop, pop, pop constantly. So every year you're going to hear epic news happening. Suddenly something comes out of nowhere, happens, and tomorrow it's irrelevant. It's just going to keep coming for everyone and everything. So if you get famous during the next 20 years, it's going to be sudden explosion, but then you're going to go away also very fast. It's very unlikely for you to stay there. It's going to be hard because it's that fire energy. It's like a firework. Gone. Gone. Last 20 years, particularly in China, the most important thing, money-wise, is the real estate. Is buying houses, selling places. Like it's all related to earth, soil, physical things, and 房产, right, was huge in China, but also in a lot of other places in the world as well. I'm just talking about China mostly, and it's kind of already phasing out. From last year already, like 2023, 2022, it's already seen the tail of the golden ages of investing in housing and hoping that you can make a big out of it. It's dead, it's gone, and that era is gone. From now on to the next 20 years, it's gonna be the fire-related energy. And together with, somehow I ended up talking about that at the end of this. How weird. But anyway, let me finish and we're gonna stop this live stream. It's gonna be related to Age of Aquarius and also the energy of fire. So fire represents also things that are actually at the core non-substantial and not physical, but on the outside extremely pretty. So anything that's with digital, AI, things that you cannot actually touch, it's intangible. It doesn't have a physical body, but it's powerful and it has a very beautiful outside. Anything in the world has that nature is going to be most relevant thing. So imagine that. Open your imagination for everything that has that nature of not being solid and real as a thing, but then very influential and powerful. And it has a constantly changing and very illusionary sort of like appearance. That's fire's energy. So if you work in certain industry, business that has that nature, it's likely to be the next 20 years gonna get big and very relevant business and anything. Like just think about what you're doing right now, and if it has that nature, right, or move towards that thing, it's gonna be most important. Fire is also related to because of the 中女 idea. I think it's related to things that are cosmetic on the surface, making things pretty. So that whole industry is also gonna keep going. Pretty important. Also, it's actually related to culture. So anything cultural related, content creation, culture, and it pairs it up with basically Age of Aquarius, AI. You already see how crazy the AI tools have become this year in terms of ChatGPT, but also all the intellectually removing things from a video or adding things in the video or from an imagery or create something, like just manipulate and totally make it impossible to tell whether it's real or not. That's fire energy. So from this year, for next 20 years, most relevant thing, AI, internet information age, information, disinformation, all that is also going to be super relevant. So you couple the fire energy, the insubstantial core, and the beautified outside, the explosiveness, unpredictiveness, things that become lesser and lesser solid. So very solid positions become less irrelevant in the next 20 years. Where you make big money or whether people in their head, right? The things here will become more important than the solid things. So psychology, any sort of thought form, culturally stuff is going to be more important. I kind of told you what's the next 20 years going to be like. These things are going to be more relevant. If you want to think about Dramaland, so the golden age of little fresh meat is gone. Never going to come back, at least for the next 180 years. Go lucky to live for that long. So starting for next 20 years, even in the entertainment business, you're going to see female, mid-age female particularly, not super young girls, not 16, 15 super young girls. That representation is not going to have power. The power would be in the individual woman. And think about that. It's already happening in a recent couple of, like before leading up to that, you see the energy bubbling, right? In a way, BL is a reflection of that too. And why it's so big and so hot and you can get so much money from it, and why people care about it, and why it happens now, right? Like at the end of the 8th and leading up to 9th, it's just like laying all the groundwork for the 9th. So we're gonna, so with that trend in place, that's not gonna go anywhere. It's just for sure gonna happen. You kind of can predict what Dramaland will start to shift towards, and it's already doing that. But then every place has its specific plan to play out. I'm mostly talking about China, just because this whole theory is a very Chinese concept of the big circling of every 20 years. You circle it and you circle it 9 times, so it's 180 years. Every 180 years is a huge cycle, and the next 180 years is gonna, in some way, like it spirals up. So if you look at basically exactly what's happening 180 years ago, it's another round of the energy, but what happened then? And it's gonna have a 21st century version of that energy now, the 180. So 24 is the first year of the ninth ring of 20 years of the fire. So 九子离火运, so that's from that to 44. Yeah. So if you want to think about what would be the similar energy, go back from 2024, counts back 180 180 years and look at history globally at that time, what's going on. And it will have a similar theme going on, the energy wise. But yeah, that's just yeah. Probably it's not gonna do a lot for your personal life, but it will be fun to look at as a hobby. China can sell it too. Unfortunately, yeah, the thing with Chinese content creation problem thing is you have to get Chinese government's okay and license to have it, and then you sell it to whoever you want. I mean, if you want to. If you don't tell them and you do it, you're never gonna work anymore in this industry. It's not allowed. So you can't, like, as a Chinese company, right, if you're making content and drama and filmmaking, you can't do it, like film something and just sell it to foreigner and not going through. You know? If it's done by you, basically you're the body, you're actually spending the money and do that. It cannot happen. Unless like you have a company that's set up outside of China and all the money and all that, it's like it's all down there, right? So it doesn't need to go through any censorship in China, maybe. But if you're a Chinese company, a production company, you do a production, you can't just like say, I don't let it go through. I just directly give it to foreign land. No, you're not gonna. Yeah, if you want to keep having your business, you're not gonna let that happen. Yeah, yeah. Nature of the BL is not really. So you know, it's the female gaze in many ways, and maybe it's just not really fully developed, and it's still taking a lot of. You know, when you want to say the male gaze, female gaze, you go into the cinema, you go into the history of all the analysis and with the feminism, blah, blah, blah. Then it's still very much in the framework of the male gaze, turn it around, and it's not breaking out of that structure that's been placed there. So next stage of evolution would be a totally different, like the female perspective of looking at things. That's actually not under the framework of the. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be very hard. We're gonna see a lot of things happening in this world gradually. Meanwhile, just have fun. And relax. Yeah, and don't stress yourself over anything. Have fun on the internet and then just get off it and go to the real world. Yeah, it's a sunny day out there because it's eventually it's the real life you live that actually matters to you, right? So we are at the end of this 2 hours and a half. Thank you for coming in, and for the 300 right now 300. Previously there was a 400 people. You guys are rock stars. And in the next live will be December, probably end of the year kind of summary, and probably happening towards the end of the year because it happens to be a Sunday or something. And then let's all pray that we're gonna have at least one good drama showing up before now and then let's just pray the world is gonna be a better place tomorrow. Slightly better than today, and then slightly better afterwards, and every day just getting a little bit better. Okay. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.